This is Returnal. We're here on PlayStation 5 Pro. Be sure to like the video. Subscribing is great as well. This is a game where you are attempting to break the cycle, as to say. You are stuck in a never-ending loop of memories, some gained, some lost, some forgotten. And you're playing as Selene here, this character that is just trying to remember, I guess, the past, or maybe the present, or something in between. You get these glimpses of yourself and glimpses of things, you know, from beyond. And you just get to see, like, your body dead a lot of the time, too. Lots and lots of your dead bodies. And you're just trying to figure out what exactly is going on as you're stuck in this place where you're just battling these creatures and monsters, and you know, you're dying, you're coming back, and it's just like it's an endless cycle basically. Unless you, of course, like break the cycle or whatever, or make it to a certain point. And if you've played the game, you know what I'm talking about. It might sound confusing, but it makes perfect sense as to what this is. It's just kind of like it's a roguelike game, so you're playing through it, you die, and then you're like restarting, and then, you know, if you're lucky, you get to keep certain element things that allow you to go a little bit further. There's a whole lot to this one. I think they also added a bit of a co-op like sort of mode thing as well. I was kind of getting the vibe from that when well, I mean, when I loaded in here, it mentioned there was a co-op mode, so I thought that was kind of interesting, and not something I really recall too much of when I had first... Oh, you've got to be kidding me. When I had first got in and played this, and, you know, it is interesting, because, like, I've played this, and then I've played it on PC, and I gotta tell you, the PC upgrade is quite a bump up. Still, this is a pretty good-looking game. Needless to say, I feel like I'm almost underselling this one from that perspective. But it is actually a very interesting title. Oh, I want that, but you're not gonna let me get that, are you? You are a problem. You are definitely a problem. So anyways, what are we getting here on the PlayStation 5 Pro? So it's basically the same sort of situation. I'm actually surprised we haven't gotten a proper bump up for this one yet. We do benefit from the fact that it is actually like locked performance-wise now. Before we had some performance issues here or there, but should be basically just locked at this point. It's internally kind of rendered at 1080p to 1440p. And then it's using a checkerboard solution to go to full 4K, I guess. And you know what? Like, compared to a lot of like recent games I've played, I can actually kind of tell a softer picture a little bit. Like, I think it looks fantastic. Most people will not notice anything there, but I just think since I've seen so many like solution type games, and I've seen this game actually running at like a very high resolution on PC because I've got my 4090 there. I have seen that this game can look quite a bit sharper when it's actually outputting at like 4K, so I just thought that was kind of interesting to mention. Like, I think it's a beautiful looking game, but I do ponder if they were to do a enhanced offering for this one. I do think they could actually get this bumped up at a higher resolution, and it would look probably significantly better. And it's again, it's sort of weird that they haven't, because this is a bit of a, you know, nice little visual showcase here for the that looks like it should be part of the map almost, right? Am I crazy? Kinda looks like it should be part of the map. That's weird. That's like wonky looking. So yeah, the game is pretty visually fine. 60 FPS, and then it's got the global ray trace global illumination element. And yeah, it's a very good looking game. I think it was a pretty nice showcase for the PS5 back when it launched the console. So it was a very good technical offering for the platform. It's just whether or not the gameplay loop is something you like. That is the biggest thing. And like I said, I wasn't necessarily huge on this game's gameplay loop, but I do find it to be aesthetically quite pleasing and visually quite neat. And, you know, we've got a really great performance here from our lead character, which I thought was really intriguing. So yeah, it kind of just depends on if you're into this sort of style of gameplay, right? There are some really, really cool, trippy narrative bits that pop up as you kind of go a little beyond, as to say. Found that to be quite intriguing. If you guys could please stop blasting me from behind. I can't remember, how do we kill you? We gotta like overload you or something? Collect parasites. Dash cooldown. Oh, that's not fun. It's just, you know, I guess I would say it's just nice for this one running to actually really have it just genuinely running smoother, right? Yeah, I don't think I'm supposed to jump down here. Never mind, I am. Uh-oh. Various weird creature things, dramatic stuff. I think the mystery in this one is perhaps the most intriguing element of it. Because, like, you're really not necessarily too sure what's going on. I mean, I kind of told you a little bit about, like, the context of the situation here, and I'm sure most people revisiting this one are probably, you know, kind of aware of the game and what it has to offer. But what I'm mostly saying is it's just, like, I think the most appealing element, at least for me on this one, was the fact that, you know, it was what is going on, what is actually happening, why are we in this loop, how are we getting out of this loop, how does this impact, you know, my ability to survive, how do I get stuff. It's just like, for me, in these types of games, while they are interesting and can provide a lot of gameplay value, the controller makes a lot of noise. Which is, I guess, immersive or something. Like, the DualSense stuff is really good on this one, as is kind of expected. But yeah, I would say it's that element of, like, you know, what exactly is going on in this situation? What is causing this? Why is this happening? You know, what kind of tools I can have. But for me, it's just that lack of real kind of meaningful between life and death progression. I just don't like getting knocked back to, like, losing all my progress. I've just never been a fan of that in video games. Unless I feel like I'm genuinely bumping up and there's something genuinely different every time you go about it. And I know the environment shifts and it changes and that too, but I don't know, I still was, like, not huge on the gameplay concept of it. But some people love, and I mean love, this sort of loop concept. And when it's done right, it just provides the perfect amount of gameplay for folks. And still a very, very cool technical showcase for the PlayStation 5 when it came out. Yeah, I feel like this should be a candidate for getting a bump up. I know it was an earlier PlayStation 5 game, but you would think it would be a good candidate to get sort of supercharged. Especially with, like, Pisser, I'm sure we could get this running way up for, like, resolution quality. It'd actually be possible to get quite a larger upper bounds. I kind of figured this would be one of those ones that would keep getting that kind of support because it is such a, you know, people were so fond of this one when it released. Yeah, you're just kind of going through these really brooding, dark and unique environments. Kind of walked... Wow. I was like, first I walked right into that ring, and then I walked right into the... off the cliff, yeah. Walked into walking right off the cliff. And I love the, like, the brooding feel of it. Like, it is just sort of this, like, There's definitely like a nice feeling of melancholy and like this sort of calmed, collected darkness and spookiness. And it's really eerie. Like it's definitely, it feels horrifying, but at the same sense it's not like a scary kind of game. If that makes sense, like it's definitely horrific, like, and there's creepy things and the vibe is unsettling, but it's more, a lot of it's atmosphere. This thing is going to absolutely smash me, isn't it? I literally don't have the tools for this. I don't think. I feel like I don't have the tools for this, and I don't have the health for it either. Suit integrity low, yeah, I kind of got that vibe. I think I should just let it kill me. I tried. But in the end, it doesn't even matter. Really, you should stop trying to come down to this planet. It's just not working for you. But the only way to get out is to go through. Just a complete emotional pain. Can you imagine being locked in this situation? I feel like you would die so many times that you would kind of... I don't know how to describe it. I feel like you would kind of lose yourself, if that makes sense. Like, just your... I guess that's kind of happened too, right? Mentally, she's just kind of lost it a bit too, right? Like, fragmentation and everything like that. I guess that would just happen depending on how many times you've gone through it too. Especially if there's elements of, like, forgetting or... Oh, this is not the first time. How many times have I been here? Am I here this many times? Who are these other ones? Really is a good looking game, though, I will say that. Atmospherics are just on par, eh? Friendly parasite! Well, that was a quick death. that was a very, very quick death. Huh. I have made it somewhat far this before, believe it or not. It is neat to revisit this one, though. It was literally one of those ones where I just kind of assumed it would get a bump up pretty fast. Like, I actually kind of assumed this would be one of those ones that would revisit for, like, the PlayStation 6 down the road and just be like, oh yeah, remember this one? Because it's not as, I don't know how to describe it. Like, it's not like a small game, right? But it is relatively easier to do stuff to this game because it's not as vast in scope as some other titles are. I feel like it would be relatively easy to just come in this and bump up the resolution. I think the biggest thing that would actually make this a little harder for them to, like, actually do something new with would be the fact that you would probably want to introduce Pisser to it, right? I guess I'm not supposed to go into the Black Acre. As much as I want to. There we go, finally something with some firepower. Another suit signal detected. It's always a great sign. A lot easier when you've got the machine gun, eh? Always love me some parasites. Why does that always happen? It's always like a triggering of a drop. Guess I should just be used to it at this point. I'd rather almost have the assault rifle kind of thing. All of those are a little disappointing, I must say. I realized you were still alive. Why is this thing so hard to kill? Unlimited power. The Sea Scout. Great. I got a bad feeling about this. I'm starting to think I may not make it out of this area alive. Not the boost I was looking for, but alright. So yeah, I would say this has been a pretty interesting experience, honestly, this game. That's actually, like, a higher upgrade than what I have. This is the damage upgrade. I think you can get some good value out of playing this. It just really does honestly depend on if the style of gameplay is something you like. I mean, it's something I'll definitely keep an eye on, too, for... I guess revisiting, should we actually get a proper upgrade for it? I feels like we probably should, right? Ow. It's kind of weird that they wouldn't. Let me out. That was easier than I thought. Oh, great. I don't think I'm gonna make it out of this, like I said when I first got in here. Fighting giant, weird, vampiric-like bats. You know, if you think about it, me looping back to do another video on this is like a Returnal of sorts, right? Wow. Wow. That was painful. Well, can't say I didn't try.